once again to another episode. This is going to be day 4 of my series for the month of August. I call it My Harus Don't Appear on a Stamp, and also on top of that, give a happy birthday to former President Barack Hussein Obama. Happy birthday to him. It is Leo season. And the gentleman, the brother that you see here, some of y'all know who he is, and I definitely know who he is, as he was one of my master teachers, and I probably was one of the few that spoke to him before he transcended. This is brother Steve Coakley. Steve Coakley came to prominence like in the 90s and stuff. A stern ally of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, who I talked about yesterday, and also brother Ashwa Kwesi. I haven't had a chance to meet neither one of them two, but Steve Coakley, I had time and the pleasure to talk to him. Now, why Steve Coakley, and people who don't know who he is, that he is the man that lifted the veil up and exposed the Boule, which is a black secret society. You know, Boule meaning advisors to the king. You know, all those college fraternities and stuff like that y'all see, like Sigma, Chi Phi, and all that, the fraternities and sororities. Two of the top ones, like the Alphas, the Q Dogs, and all that, that's all Boule. You know, and he explained, you can catch a lot of his videos, lectures on YouTube. He talked about like how Martin Luther King was Boule, Bill Cosby's Boule, a lot of them. But the biggest and the most well known, he's known for, too, why I say he would be a hero to me, is that him being from Chicago. You know, to my shout out to my people from Chi-Town and stuff like that. You know, that's where he's from. That's where he was from. He also put together the thesis and the theory, and it came factual about Jesse Jackson and his hand in setting up Martin Luther King to get assassinated. Now, I'll leave the link in the description for that video right there. You know, Jesse Jackson killed Martin. If YouTube hadn't taken that down already, which they normally do, but if they do take it down, I advise y'all to go ahead and download it. You know, but thing like with Steve Coakley, man, he was the real deal. I mean, he wasn't hard to reach or nothing like that. I talked to him about it on the phone about the Boule, and that's how I learned my lessons and stuff like that. You know, but as of April 11th, I think 2012, if I'm not mistaken, we lost Brother Coakley. You know, and like I said, I believe they killed him because, you know, because in Wikipedia he's known as a conspiracy theorist. But Steve Coakley called out a lot of people, man. He questioned about it with Obama. He even called out that oinker, that pig, Alex Jones. He said, shit, he beat Alex Jones' ass down. Not literally, but I think in the debate he did beat him down. But one I think I could pull up of him, let me see something, of him going at it with Irv Rubin. And like I said once again, if y'all, the noise that y'all hear in the background, please ignore it. You know, and here it go right here, yeah.
Real deal.
America. White supremacy is
the problem. Jews just happen to be white. I think Irving shows a good example of the immaturity possessed by many Jews who overreact and, shall we say, disrespect
at a time when CNN was real.
Jews. It appears as if people like Irving have a certain level of immaturity that they just can't imagine that a person that talks as illegitimate as he talks is not in some form disrespectful, or shall we say so peevy that he isn't even worth responding to.
Well, Mr. Coakley, you can't blame him for reacting when you get up before an audience and read a statement, I don't care where it comes from, to the effect that Jewish doctors are inoculating black kids with AIDS.
Well, I think what you ought to do is look at the New York Times, which talked about the doctors in Zaire who got an agreement with Mobutu to shoot up black people. This ethnic weapons program is being used all over the world. Unfortunately,
Mr. Coakley, you mentioned the ethnic weapons program. How much of the problem
racist Pat Buchanan
of Chicago are the blacks' own fault?
Well, white supremacy is the main problem in our community.
How much of the problems are your own fault?
If we resolve white supremacy, we will resolve the problems of unemployment. We will resolve the problems of bad housing. The Reagan administration probably represented the epitome of white supremacy by cutting into every domestic livable program that whites and blacks had, especially poor people, and they showed their relationship with these people by proving their insensitivity.
Well, Mr. Coakley, you've attacked Jesse Jackson, you attacked the late Mayor Harold Washington, you called them colorless. What black leaders, political leaders in this country do you respect?
Well, I think politics has a way of accommodation. I don't think we have true political leaders in the sense of that you're going to find purity in politics. Politics is about accommodation and compromise. When our black leaders go into politics, as was discussed recently in Harper's Magazine, blacks have to prove the rights that they will protect their interests first.
Okay, y'all heard that? That's how I learned about that. And see, like, you know, a lot of our people still get in that romance, and I just wished Obama's birthday or whatever like that. But let's face facts, let's be real. Steve, what Professor Black Truth and what Jason Black been telling y'all, and even Tariq Nasheed and even myself and Umar Johnson has said for a long time, and Steve Coakley right here, one of my master teachers, just reconfirmed that. Like with the Obama administration, let's keep it real. If you want to be real about it, let's keep it 100, as you know, as the kids would say, as the princess would say. You know, Obama ain't did nothing for us. We still was getting killed out here in the streets by these race cowards, and you know, still systematically getting put down. But he hasn't built no legacy with us. Shoot. And same thing with this administration with Trump. Same thing. The only thing Trump did is just kind of, he really like re-galvanized black people and started to realize, oh, this ain't no game no more. You know, this ain't no game no more. And when Steve Coakley said that this was back in the 90s, I say like 20 some odd years ago, when CNN was real and he was debating the small hat, not as my brother Dantano would say, not the real Jew, the so-called fake. He's a fake Jew. The late Irv Rubin of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, or some shit like that. You know, and Coakley ate his ass up. Let's continue.
That's why politics is not the type of game that we're going to continue to invest all our time in, because it's proven that it doesn't work. Politics will not whip white supremacy. But clear, accurate, documented challenges to white supremacy, as well as action, grassroots action, taking against the forces of white supremacy. I thought it was awfully strange. Okay,
Coakley, we have to take a break for a commercial. Mr. Levin, Spain.
They can't fuck with Brother Steve, man. They couldn't fuck with him.
You heard what Mr. Coakley said, and you don't agree with him, and I don't agree with him. I don't think Pat agrees with him.
See?
But aren't you taking this to the limit when you call him names on this program and when you make the remarks you make about violence?
You know, I got to tell you something. I really had tremendous reservations about coming on this program with him because, as Pat said, you're building him up. Nobody would know what he is, animal, vegetable, or mineral, but we're building him up. So the fact is, you've got to call him exact.
Wow. Now, did you hear this old big-nosed faggot Cade knuckle dragger called Coakley an animal. Animal, vegetable, or mineral. Basically calling him a thing. And in a court of constitutional law, a thing has no rights. But notice how they do it when Coakley's not there. You know. So, you know, but don't worry about it. Irv Rubin, that big nosed rat looking bastard passed away, so let him burn in hell with the rest of the small hats.
Actually what he is. I would like to ask him, if I may, why is it that every night in Los Angeles there's a mini Holocaust going on here, and it's got nothing to do with white racism? We have black kids killing black kids over cocaine, over other kinds of dope and paraphernalia. Why isn't he here? Why isn't this Farrakhan fellow here trying to stop the black-on-black carnage that's going on in this nation? Black raving gangs traveling throughout this nation, killing other black people.
All right, Mr. Coakley, answer.
Well, since you gave him the privilege to ask a question, and I didn't really expect the same privilege subsequent to that, I think it's very clear that black-on-black crime and other syndromes in the black community are what black people do when they don't understand who the enemy is.
Right.
Part of the problem with the tapes that were heard by those who played them was that in those tapes were names of very prominent people. It talked about the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberger Group. It talked about those things. It talked about, now we're not that immature. I don't believe in the word conspiracy. As a researcher, it's my job to present the best evidence. I think that the best evidence is what should go forward, and that you all ought to grow up enough to be able to dialogue with blacks who have legitimate concerns, who just so happen may have been trained by you, who understand your pathologies well, and who would expect you to step up for the dialogue rather than to continue to stoop down. I think Urban is a stooper. Now, Urban, I'd like to ask you, what positive contribution have you made in the last 20 years of your life to have added something to this problem of black-Jewish relationships, rather than to be the manipulator that you are? Obviously, you're not on this show for any positive contribution.
Well, I'll tell you,
just what is your game?
I'll tell you exactly what I did. And perhaps I'm foolish for it now because I realize where you're coming from. I went down south to Forsyth County, Georgia, and I marched with about 25,000 beautiful people, both black and white. And thank God you weren't there, because my stomach would have turned and I would have had to throw up all over you.
If you don't know that I wasn't there.
Exactly.
Well, I didn't see you, and thank God I didn't. Because if I had done anything in the last 20 years, it said stand up to animals like you, then there's a place in heaven.
Call them an animal again.
Well, see, what's the problem with the black-Jewish relationships across the country now?
You're the problem.
We have to admit that there has been no violence on the part of blacks towards whites, probably even though there's reason for some violence. And I think by exacerbating the racial tensions,
what are you gonna do?
I hope that you all know, Pat and Mr. Brady, that on the national level in Congress, there's an attempt to pass anti-group defamation laws. In fact, Newsweek on June 6th did an article about it, where out of Hofstra University has come the desire to outlaw racial slurs. And those people that were alluded to in the article said that they were going to spend this summer setting the climate to make it possible to outlaw racial slurs and make a gentleman like myself a criminal, though I've never been arrested in my life. Well, so it appears as if we're being used to set the climate in America.
Mr. Coakley, what gestures have you made toward racial understanding and equality?
Well, first, it should be said that during the time that I was in the mayor's office, not one single person accused me of abusing the power that I had within my control. In fact, it strikes me as strange that the Jewish Federation in Chicago used to pass confidential documents to me to take to the mayor prior to anyone even seeing them. That surely doesn't sound like a person who was mistrusted. And I can tell you that in Chicago, we're coming forward with blacks who really represent the black community and disregarding those blacks chosen by Jews for these dialogue ventilation sections. We're coming forward with some real leadership. We're coming out to propose a research project where we can go back to the beginning of time and trace the relationships between blacks and Jews to assess just where this problem started. It didn't start in the civil rights movement. It didn't start in the early 1900s when they started the NAACP and Urban League. It started back in the beginning of time. Unless we have this study, we won't resolve the conflict.
I'd like to say it started with people like Jesse Jackson and people like Coleman Young and people like this fellow, Mr. Coakley, people who are jealous of Jews. The reason there is black in Italy right today is because these blacks are jealous of Jews, and that's the only reason.
Well, quite
Success. You can't make it, and we can.
Well, quite frankly, Irvin, even in Israel,
And my name is Irv.
Sephardic Jews who are of color are also discriminated against by European and Soviet Jews. I think this problem is bigger than we ever assessed. And
All right,
Jews, especially white Jews, have a problem in America. Whites are...
Okay, that's my man, Steve Coakley, man, the realest that ever lived, man. You know, like, even before Tariq Nasheed started the Hidden Colors, no offense, nothing, but that's how we knew about white supremacy, because you know why? Because Steve Coakley read the books of Millie Fuller, read the ISIS papers by our queen, the late, the elder, the late great Dr. Frances Cresswell Singh. And in September, I'm going to be doing another series on that. But brother Steve Coakley, man, look here. He the one. I'm gonna pull up another one too, where he talks about. I'm gonna put both of these in the description box. I'm trying to see if I could. Like this. Plus, he also talked about the assassination of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, other black leaders, you know. Oh, let me see. But I'm going to put the link in the description because I can see it's like a 10-hour, minute long, whatever like that. But that's just one of the examples. So I'm going to put those links in the description and y'all can watch it for yourself. If you got the app YouTube Downloader or TubeMate, download that. It would be like in the App Store on Apple, and it's in Android, in Google Play Store. If you got a Samsung Galaxy, you can find it in the Google Play Store, and you can find it in the Galaxy App Store. I recommend getting out the Galaxy App Store. That'll be a lot more better. But Steve Coakley, definitely one of my heroes, and one of my master teachers too. You know, his teachings I carry with me and apply every day to my life when it comes down to dealing with racism, white supremacy, or as we call it, like Caucasian terrorism. Because I just use the term white supremacy as communication. Just the same time I use black as form of communication. Because a lot of our people, they're not woke yet. So as soon as they get woke, I'll change the dialogue a lot more better, but then they play catch up. But this man here is something. I suggest you look up his videos. But let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section, and I'll be back and I'll have another one listed for tomorrow of my